Hey guys, welcome back. We're Tristan here with Mission Forge, and today we're working on our Scottish, Dirk-ish, style-ish knife. So if you're just starting here, I got some other videos starting out with all the way going from making the billet to this step here. And it's not quite a Scottish Dirk, okay? It's a little too small for it, but it's kind of based off of a Scottish Dirk. That's why I say Scottish Dirk-ish. So anywho. So in the last video, guys, we did the whole hand sanding, putting in the, fullers and all that stuff and everything else like that. So right now, I kind of got a nice dark etch on there. You can see the designs on there a little bit, just a dark etch. And I put some painter's tape on here because I don't want to scratch the metal. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and we're going to start working on putting the guard on. I'm going to use a brass guard. But before I can do any of that, I need to get the shoulders here even. So I have a homemade jig that I made here. So filing jig. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put that on so it's on there and make sure it's nice, straight, and even. And that way, when I start to file the shoulders here, what's gonna do is it's going to go ahead and give me a really flat surface to work with. So that way when I make the guard, that it will be as flat as possible. I'm still probably going to do a silver solder on it. I like the silver solder thing. It's just kind of my thing. You guys don't have to do that, but I'm probably going to do it. So, but in the brass, or the guard's going to be brass. So right now, the name of the game is get this squared off, and then we're going to start making the guard. So let's get to it. Alright, so I got the jig on, and what you want to do is you want to get it lined up with the lowest side already of the shoulders here. So this side over here was lower than this side. I went to the grinder real quick and I squared this off up here so that way when I go to weld on the thread all on there, it's squared and cleaned up already. But and the same thing here. I had to grind this down just a little bit more so I had more of a shoulder. It was barely any over here. So then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through, make sure it's squared off and flat. Using the jig here will help ensure that I get as flat as a possible surface as I can. Nice steady strokes, even pressure. Of course, this is actually harder than the file, so it's just skating across. I need to get a new file. But also, what you're going to want to do is right in the very corners, you want to be slightly, and I mean ever so slightly rounded, because if it's got a hard 90-degree angle, that's a likelihood for it to crack and break if you actually can use the knife. So what I'm going to do is use part of the rounding here. I have a little needle file here that I usually do for that right there, and I'm just going to put just a slight curve in there. Okay, so now we got this pretty darn flat. The shoulders are pretty flat. It should be pretty much good to go at that there. There might have to be some small hand filing here and there. But the next step now is to go ahead and make the guard. Really, it's not a real true guard because it's not like it's gonna, be like this where you see it crosses, or anything like that. A lot of the Dirks have kind of it's almost more like a bolster than it is a guard, but we're gonna make it like a guard, or like an end cap almost, if you will. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and make it now. It's just gonna be pretty much a round end cap here. Or guard, I'm just going to say guard for argument's sake here. So it's going to be round, but obviously because it's not even, this side is longer than this side here, the hole's got to be off-centered a little bit, and it's no big deal. So we'll get everything shaped. Just a little tip there, if you guys are going to do what I'm doing, which is going to be a slide-on one here, make sure that the tang is thinner down here than it is up here, or at least the same length. I tend to go a little thinner here. And then we will get it so it fits up here. So it's going to take a lot of file work and a lot of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up and get ready to do that. Okay, so you saw I put on these lines, get everything measured out. It's just a piece of leather I'm using over the anvil, so I don't really ding up the back of this too much. And I'm just gonna go ahead and center punch where I made the marks in the one line. So I'm gonna do that real fast. All right, so you can't see it, but I already kind of scratched where it's supposed to be, so I know where to put the center mark on. And it's a nice like tap. And I don't know how well you can see it, but there is a divot on there. You can kind of see the divot right there. So now we'll do the next one. Do the edges first, or towards the ends first. See, now I got the second one down there. Time for the one in the middle here. Okay, there we go. 3 line dots right on the line there. So it goes to hair deeper. The reason being is we put the drill bits on there. We don't want it to wobble around too much. Okay. So now we got nice deep center punch marks there. All right, now time to get the drill press set up and we're gonna start drilling this. Okay. It there. 1 hole drilled. Two holes drilled. Now, if we can get this third one to stay on point right where it's at, it'll get us 3 intersecting holes, which makes it so much easier for filing and stuff like that. So that's the goal. It's a chance though that this will move. You get your 2 holes. There's a chance where when the press comes in, the bits come here, it can slide off into one of the other holes. If that happens, well, we gave it our best shot. And then it comes down to us having to, if you got a routing bit, cut out that way. Otherwise, hand filing, which takes a while. So you got to go nice and easy with this. Oh no. I mean, it's not bad, but it didn't turn out the way I wanted. So 3 intersecting holes. However, as you can see, that middle hole went off to the side a little bit more than I liked. But what I probably should have mentioned is that I used a drill bit 1 size smaller. So that way, if that did happen, it's easy enough for me to make that correction using a file. So, if we look, it's hard to tell, but if you look, you can see we never went outside those lines. And those lines are as wide as the tank. So guess what that means? We did fine. So it comes down to hand filing now. That is a whole lot of fun. Alright, so they are ground pretty flat on this side. Now I gotta work on getting the edges here ground filed down and more even.
cut. We
Oh, that looks bad. That must have been a hole to allow some air to get in there and ruin the weld side of my cube. We have to have all three steels in this knife, and I don't know which cube is which, and now I have to go create a new cube. Son of a I start working on my third cube, and I start to see sparks shoot out. Oh, that looks bad. I don't know which cube is which, and we have to have all three steels in this knife. And I'm not 100% certain, but I think it looks like the 52-100 ball.
Okay. So what I did is I filed this down at an angle, so it's a slope on the edges here and here, so that the knife will seat a little better. Because figure the shoulders here, we do have a slight curve on there. We don't want a hard 90 degree because that could be a failure point. So as you can see, we're almost there, and I probably spent, I don't know, about an hour and a half just sitting here, maybe a little bit more, 2 hours filing this dang thing. So, and that's the problem right now. And it's unfortunately I got a little bit more of a gap between here than I wanted, but I'm gonna silver solder it. It's just not a big deal. But we are almost there. Almost. So just gotta keep on filing. Let's see. Oh, beautiful. Finally. We are golden. We got, next to no gap down there, but we're gonna fill that in with the silver solder. Ah, beautiful. The knife guard has been slotted. Thank you. That's it for today. Pick this up tomorrow. Okay, now that we got the guard slotted and fitted for the tang, which is just very tedious work. It's just took me probably about 2.5 hours to file this down so it will fit on here, and I still made the holes just a little too big, but because I'm going to silver solder this, it's not too big of a deal. Alright, so the next step now is that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut a template out for this. I'm going to put it over here, I'm going to trace it and all that fun jazz, so that way, what you doing there, cat? So that way I can go ahead and start grinding this down to the shape that I need. I'm going to keep it right around the same width. I'm just going to clean up the sides here. Mostly going to focus on rounding this part and then this part down here. So let's get to work. Okay, so now that we got the template cut out and made, I went ahead and just used some black marker and traced it onto my guard here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm I want to try to save my belts as much as I can, so I might try just to cut off what I can and then touch up with the grinder and get it nice. So if not, then I'll just grind it completely. It's gonna get hot, so I have to keep dipping in the water. So yeah, hell, I think I'll probably just grind it. I don't know yet. Still debating. You'll see in the video what I decide to do. Got that cut out. So now I'm just gonna grind it. Okay, so I've decided I'm going to go ahead and solder this on. I'm not going to do any detail work on it. So I'm going to try something a little different with the soldering because I don't want the solder to run all over the guard and down the blade and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the flux and I'm going to put it on a Q-tip. And I'm only going to flux the inside here and then a little bit on the edge and stuff there. That way I am not, let me clean that off. That way I am not going to be getting it, this solder to stick to anything other than that. So I'm not going to use a whole lot of solder either. So I'm going to cut little tiny strips, place it and all that fun stuff. I'm going to get wet rags and everything ready to go. So I'm going to place it on the blade so that the heat doesn't travel down the blade. So all that fun jazz. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to soak this with the flux and we're only going to apply it to where it needs it. So okay. We're going to put this right on here first. Make sure that we know which way is which. So we want it to go. Okay. So this right here. go. It's flowing on this side here. It's flowing there. I need to add a little bit more to that right there. There we go. Okay. A little clumpy there, but I can fix that pretty easily with some files and stuff. That's no big deal there. Okay, so now we got this soldered on. It's not going anywhere. Not too shabby. I mean, I could see where it's inside here. I can't get a fingernail in there, so that's not bad. Just a little cleanup now, so got to hit this with some sandpaper, get it nice and clean. Under here, got to hit it with the file. On the bottom, I'm not too worried about because it's going to be completely hidden by the handle. So I'm going to go ahead and clean it up, and then we'll call it good with getting the guard attached to the blade here. Not too shabby.